All right, guys, we are live. Episode 199 of the Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Nikki Clevenger is joining us, probably fresh off a win at some match. High overall.
Actually, no, I have not shot, and I don't even know. It's been a while. I got one more match in the season, and then, but yeah, I totally just came off.
You should have rolled with it.
Yeah.
You should have just rolled with it. Yeah, that's what we were looking for. Yep.
Yeah.
High overall, like 3 times since we've done the last show.
Pretty much.
All right, Jennifer Seymour is seeing the world apparently since then.
Yeah, been world traveling. I'm still jet lagged.
There you go. She woke up
fresh
just
back from China.
Here we go. Guest star of the hour here from Warne Scope Mount. We had Justin Smith joining us. What's going on, Justin?
Not a heck of a lot. Glad to be here.
Have you on here. We have a bunch of questions that you probably answered a million times before, but hopefully you guys learned something from today's show. I know shit I didn't know. You just can install. I just threw on a scope mount most of the time to do it correctly. All right, so we're gonna go over some of this stuff throughout the show today. If you have any live questions, be sure, if you're on the Facebook side of things, there was a post that just went up. Probably our most recent pin post or something like that. You can plug your comments below that post over there. Jennifer will screen those. I'm over on the YouTube side of things, so if you're watching live on the YouTube side, top right-hand corner, if they haven't changed the method of doing so, you can just join the conversation and plug in your live questions. We'll grab those throughout the show today. Show sponsors, the folks over at Tactical Shit, shop.tacticalshit.com. They have tons of AR accessories, clothing, armored plate stuff, survival gear. We got a discount code coming from them later on out throughout the show here. Stay tuned for that. Also, the shootersmindset.com. We had a couple new articles that were released. Jennifer put out a real popular article on her experience at the Gap Grind. That's made his way around YouTube for Jennifer's first article on there. To go check it out. It's as soon as you click a blog, it's right there on the right. The folks over at Tandemkross.com. Fine, folks, for all your rimfire needs, Tandemkross has it over there, so go check them out at Tandemkross.com. Lastly here, we talked about Q&A. Pretty much that's all I got here. We're going to jump right into it. Justin, for those who are kind of unfamiliar with you and about on Warne scope mounts or anything Warne does, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and about the company?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a sales manager at Warne Scope Mounts. Well, actually, officially, our name now is Warne. We're no longer Warne Scope Mounts because we make some different shooting accessories, but we are primarily known as a U.S. manufacturer of scope mounts.
There you go, man. So that would talk, and that I was actually answering one of my questions before. So that's the reason behind the logo change, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So we didn't want to pigeonhole ourselves into just scope mounts because we're starting to break into different accessories, and then kind of over the next 3 or 4 years, we're going to have a lot of different types of shooting accessories. So having the name scope mounts doesn't really fall in with all those categories necessarily. But and you know, aside from that, we needed a logo refresh pretty bad for a long time. So
there you go.
It was about time.
How'd you get involved in the shooting industry, especially with Warne?
With Warne, when I was fresh out of college, it was 2010, and then not a very good economy, and I went to work selling guns. And fortunately, my boss got a job at Warne, and shortly after that called me and said, I got to have you working for me. So I dropped everything that I was doing and took my job with Warne, and haven't looked back since.
I graduated in 2010 too.
It was great, wasn't it? No, it was terrible.
No, it was awful. It was fun until I graduated, and then I was like, oh, real life.
Yep.
How long have you been
7 years ago.
Actually, youngsters. All right.
Well, graduated college, not high school. Come on now.
I'm not too far.
College, not high school.
Technically, I'd be close to the same boat because I was 05 in high school. So
yeah, I was 06 in high school. So
I was 05 in high school. So
there you go. And what were you doing? Were you a competitive shooter back then, or were you just a dude selling some guns in gun shops, gained some knowledge there, went over there, and now you're kind of into the long range game? What are you doing now?
I just knew a heck of a lot about guns in general. because it's kind of funny. Everybody that comes to work for us, nobody knows a lot about scope mounts. Scope mounts specifically is always everybody's kind of weak point. Everybody knows everything else about guns. Nobody knows anything about scope mounts. So when you start out at Warne, we have a lot of, firearms experts, a lot of people who really know their stuff. They come into work for us. They don't know a thing about what we do. So there's always a learning curve there, but I just knew a lot about firearms. I've grown up a hunter and a shooter in general. And then from working at Warne, kind of got introduced into the competitive shooting side of things, shot some 3-gun. Currently, we're shooting a lot of PRS, and getting into long range is really where we're making our push now.
Boom. Warren's been around for a very long time in appearance. Do you know some of the history behind the company, if you care to share?
Yeah, we've been around for 26 years now. Last year was our 25th anniversary. The company was founded by Jack Warne. Jack Warne was actually the founder of Kimber. Kimber was originally Kimber of Oregon, and that was Jack's company. That Jack was from Australia, and he came over and started a rifle company, basically, and they made a lot of different products. They made some really cool 22s. Eventually, they made some centerfire bolt-action rifles. The company kind of came and went in a few different forms over the years before being sold, and then after it finally moved out to Yonkers, he decided to start a scope mount company because he just liked scope mounts. He thought they were really interesting little doodads or gizmos, and they didn't have a lot of the same liability as rifles had. So it was still a way for him to stay in the industry. And our very early mounts were based on the very early Kimber mounts, which were handmade, very high-end rings. And that was the kind of the origin point of the vertically split rings that we're known for.
Oh, there you go. Now, let me start this one. I'll probably question that you get a ton. I mean, I don't even have this, right? I always have one-piece mounts.
Mm-hmm.
All of them happen to just be Warne mounts. But why would someone choose rings over one-piece mount? Is there a benefit to one over the other?
There's a benefit. It just depends on your application. If I had an MSR or an AR, something that was a flat top gun where I had limited rail space. So the reason we do a one-piece mount is because it gives you extra cantilever forward, so you can get the proper eye relief. That only works on a Picatinny rail. So the vast majority of guns don't have pick rails on them. They have two-piece bases, or they have a one-piece Weaver-style base, or they have, maybe it's even a proprietary dovetail. So in those cases, you're going to want to go with a ring set because it's going to allow the flexibility. You can move those rings to wherever your bases end up being, and you don't have to have a standardized slot spacing, essentially. The other part of that is you can get a lot lower mount out of it if you use like a two-piece base set and a set of rings compared to a one-piece mount, because there's certain factors you just can't avoid that add to the overall height if you're really trying to get the scope down low.
Boom, Jen, like you said, you came off that gap grind match. I mean, what were you using at that time? Did you learn anything about your kind of setup at that match as far as scope mounts go? You're muted there. For some reason, I'm not hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
Weird.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. I hit something on my headphones, apparently.
Right.
No, it has a thing on it. If I hit it, then you can't hear me. So I'm shooting a Night Force optic, and I have a Night Force scope mount. And so that's what I had mounted on my 308. And it's a good mount, but I was saying before the show that it's a little high for me. I have to have the cheek riser really high up because it is higher, but it's a one piece. So that's probably lends to why it is higher.
All right. And you said you had that, well, in a pre-show talk, that you have that, even with your general 3-gun scope, that you have to have a cheek riser pretty high.
Yes, I do. Every gun I shoot, the way that my face is shaped, if I get down on the gun the way I need to, I can't see anything through my scope. I was shooting somebody's 22 at a steel match the other day, and they were like, "Why are you holding it like that?" I'm like, "Because I can't see through the scope. I can't see the dot if I don't do that." So I had to like hold it up here. Of course, the 22 has no recoil, so who cares? I was just going ping, ping, ping on some steel. But every single scope that I have ever looked through, I cannot see through it without a cheek riser.
There you go. So Warne has a solution for that, right? For bolt guns, or is it there? What was your conversation on that?
He says he's going to fix me up.
Yeah, I was going to say in your case, so there's as far as MSRs go, there's a lot of different mounts out there, and most of them stay at the same height. It's about 1.5 inches above the flat top, because that's what the factory carry handle sight originally was at. Ours sits a little bit lower than that, but in your case, people with high cheekbones, they run into that problem. They can't get a good cheek weld when they're shooting, so they don't find, that's a very individual basis, but they don't find that they can get a good cheek weld and see through a scope, even at the same height that everybody else does. So you can go with a set of rings and drop it down. Then you have a lot of different options. I think you mentioned earlier that you were shooting a 308 gas gun. So you're shooting a large frame AR in that case. You can actually use a set of rings. You don't need the extra cantilever of a one-piece mount like you would need on, say, an AR-15, because the receiver is longer. So you can certainly get that down lower or get it to whatever height that you actually need. Bolt guns are a lot easier, of course, because you have a little more space to work with. But we have plenty of options. And again, our one-piece mounts sit just a hair lower than most others out there on the market.
Boom. There you go. Chris 3 Gunner says, will Warne be making any 2-inch scope center height ramp mounts?
Probably not to the center line. My question would be, why would you want a 2-inch to center line height? That's really high. So we consider, the center line of our AR specific or our MSR mounts is about 1.435. That is considered an ultra high ring if it wasn't a ring. That's pretty darn high. You're not going to find much that's beyond 1.5 inches. So 2 inches of height, that is really high off of the receiver, unless you have neck problems or you have kind of a funky shooting position or something else. There's not much demand for a 2-inch centerline height mount. Honestly, this is the first time I've had one requested.
There we go. Jay, if you want to follow up there, we'll get the question in there. Corey King says, and put a smiley face behind us, so hopefully you know Corey King, who says, will Warne hire better looking people? Question mark.
Yeah.
So I work with Corey. He works in the office down from me. And,
so they hired him too, obviously, then.
Yeah, unfortunately, we hired him, and now we have to live with that consequence on a daily basis. So
there you go.
I mean, really, for us in the office and not him, because we have to be in that same room. So
there you go. Jay Chris 3 kind of follows up and says 1.5 is too low for me. I have to jam my face into the buffer tube to see.
You can do a couple different things. A lot of that can be fixed with shooting position. Guys who like to shoot with their head fairly upright and not get down on the gun have that kind of issue. But you can also, if you want to get to 2 inches, you're going to have to run a riser. And the easiest way to do that is run a riser on the flat top, run a set of rings, and if you contacted us, contact our tech department, and we could get you the exact ring height that would put it at 2 inches above the flat top or whatever you would want it at. And a riser would still get you that cantilever. That's the easiest way of accomplishing that.
Oh, there you go. Good questions, guys. Thanks for putting those in early. What are some common mistakes people make when mounting the scope mount or rings, or do you need some tools? Should you have some tools? What are some of those?
I can tell you all the mistakes. He doesn't have to tell you common mistakes. The fact that there's you should use a level. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that people needed a level to make sure things were as they should be. Also, when you put it on, you should put the gun to your face and figure out where it needs to be, for your eye relief and stuff. And he just fed me the word eye relief because I was just going to try to wing it.
Right.
But obviously he can hear me talking and he's like, eye relief. So get your
I won't let anybody else mount my scopes because I want it mounted to me and how I want it. But I'm totally curious to hear I know how I mount it, and I think I do pretty good, but I want to hear all the
Those are the
details.
common mistakes, I would say, that you forget that it needs to be level and worry about your eye relief and that sort of thing. And then you put the wrong color Loctite on it.
Yeah.
To stay. common.
Yeah,
you don't torque wrench it. You just hand tighten it.
Details.
Take a butter.
Details.
No, you take a butter knife, dude, and it has some slots right there. You just take the butter knife and turn it tight. That's it.
So honestly, the big mistakes are that if you use red Loctite, you better be happy with the mount being on there, because 10 years down the road, it's still going to be on there, unless you want to take a torch to your gun. No, actually, under tightening is not a big deal. We rarely run into that. Over tightening is a big deal. A lot of people just reef on those little screws, and you can actually do quite a bit of damage. The other thing is using Loctite where it's not needed compared to using Loctite where it's recommended. We recommend Loctite on base screws. They can rattle loose. We don't recommend Loctite on ring screws. It lubricates the thread, changes your torque values. That goes back to the whole over torquing thing. Using a torque wrench is pretty important. So we have a couple different options in torque wrenches. They're very affordable. They're easy to use. They're small. That you can throw them in a range bag, and you don't ever have to worry about the torque on your mounts. The whole
now that I'm going to buy it because I have to borrow my torque wrench.
Yeah, we have a little T-handle 25 inch-pound, and we have a 65 inch-pound. It beeps and clicks at you and everything. They're awesome. You just throw them in every range bag you have, and you never have to worry about it. But to comment on the leveling of a reticle, there's a lot of different ways to level a reticle, and everybody thinks a reticle is not level when they look at it compared to somebody else, because your eye is going to have some bias to it. And those who use levels on, say, like a cap of a turret compared to some point on the gun, you're assuming that all those surfaces are level with each other. And really, you're actually assuming that all those surfaces are level with the reticle itself, which is rarely true, unless it's a very high-end scope where you have verified that the cap is level with the reticle, is level with the top of the rail, is level with the point that your actual bubble level is sitting on. It's not really a valid way of leveling a reticle.
And the rifle is completely level.
Yeah, unless the rifle is completely level as well. And again, you just have to assume all those
And like you put that scope mount on, and then you forget that you started tightening stuff, and then you forget that you were supposed to kind of make sure that was at least sticking, the one turret was at least sticking up straight before you tighten down the scope, and you're not trying to move it back. Details.
Well, yeah, I recently put that an optic on a 308, and so I was using the kitchen table. I had the rifle on the kitchen table, had the levels on the mount, the rifle, had 2 levels, but then I took a picture, sent it to my buddies, and the buddies are like, "Is your kitchen table level?" And I'm like, "Oh shit."
Even down is the earth level. That's my next toy. Is I want one of the levels that at the PRS match, everybody had the levels that turn green, red, blue, based on if you're too far one way or the other, so you could make sure you're level before you break the shot. I was like, oh, I want one of those.
There you go. Jeez.
But yeah, I'm actually proud of myself because when I do my mounts, I always use a level, and I level the rifle, and so I level all of that, and then I always get my friend to do his torque wrench. But I do need my own, so I don't have to bug him every time.
I was lucky to get one of the one that Warne offers, the one that it just beeps at the right, and that's like, it works. It's like dummy free. It just works, right?
Stop when it beeps.
I was lucky to have, just stop when it beeps, right? And then I had another tool where I have all the tools from them, so it works because I do a lot of dumb stuff
now.
Yeah,
I'm Googling now because I'm gonna have to buy one so I can have.
Yeah, and they're, like I said, they're small, and they're just valuable, very valuable for stuff like that. What do we have here? So there's a lot of competition when it comes to the mounts. It seems to be getting more and more as we go to SHOT Shows and see new companies popping up. We see new mounts coming. But there's, I talked to Keith Garcia, who's on part of the pro staff too, and that's the first time I really heard of the difference between a mount that, clamps the optic on the top versus the bottom or side to side. And he said the differences between the two, but I wanted you to talk about, is there advantage to one over the other?
I wouldn't say that there's an advantage to one over the other. I'd say that they have different benefits for different purposes. So we make both. We make vertically split rings. We're kind of known best for vertically split rings. That's what we've done for the longest. We have horizontally split rings as well. Our one-piece mounts are horizontally split, and our Mountain Tech rings are horizontally split. So different purposes. So the benefit behind a vertically split ring, at least how we do it, is they're very simple, and simple is strong, and simple is easy. There's not a lot of things that can go wrong. Vertically split rings center themselves on the base, so they can't be misaligned. They don't require lapping, and the way that they actually clamp on the scope tube is a little differently. So when you think about a horizontally split ring, you think about like a vise. It's opposing sides, they're pushing against each other. You have two pressure points and you have two gaps. With a vertically split ring, you're eliminating one of those gaps because they actually come to a close at the bottom. And so when you go to tighten the top screws, the ring actually has to slightly flex around the scope tube to put any kind of torque on it. So instead of a vise-like clamp, it's more like a hose clamp. It actually wraps around the tube. And that's a couple of advantages. They're very strong that way. They have great repeatability in the quick detach version. And they just have great holding strength. I've had a lot of stories of guys who have done just horrible things to their rifles. And when you hear about it, they are shocked that the scope has still held zero. I mean, guys who have launched their rifles out of four-wheelers when they've crashed them, who have had horses fall off trails 100 feet and the rifle breaks, but the scope is still zeroed. Just amazing things, and that's what you get with a steel vertically split ring. They're almost indestructible. At the same time, a horizontally split ring is good. If there is somebody who wants to lap the rings, a lot of the guys like doing that kind of thing. You can't do it with a vertically split ring, but for those who like to do it, it's another good option. And you can have some different attachment methods that way. You usually end up with a lighter ring in a horizontally split ring, and that's just a different style. People are typically used to a more traditional horizontal split, and they kind of prefer one over the other, but both have really good benefits.
So, another question here. We have quick detach mounts have pretty much grown in popularity. A lot of companies are offering quick detach. Why doesn't Warne offer a quick detach in their one-piece mounts? They do offer some rings, obviously, in a quick detach, but I haven't seen them in the one-piece. Is there a reason why?
Yeah, we offer a lot of quick detach rings. We've been very successful with them over the years. The reason we have not come out with a one-piece quick detach yet, I will say that we will be probably very soon. First and foremost is that there's a lot of different quick detach systems that are used on those mounts, and we don't want to copy anybody necessarily, and we want something that works really well. You're kind of limited in what you can actually do with that style for a scope mount. For other mounts like a red dot mount or something else, you don't need the same kind of clamping force to keep it in place. So we've been waiting till we came up with something that we really liked before we released it to the market. On the other side of things, even though our one-piece mounts are not quick detach, they still have the benefit of, if you remove it and you put it back on the gun, they return to zero still. And a fixed mount with a torque wrench, I would say, will return to zero as good, if not probably better than most quick detach mounts out there in the world, because you're torquing it consistently. Most of the feedback that we've had, because we've been very involved in three-gun and competitive shooting, most of those kind of shooters have advised us that they didn't want a quick detach mount. They wanted a fixed mount. They wanted to be able to set those half-inch nuts with a torque wrench and not worry about it. And when you're throwing things in dump bins, it's one thing to worry about, am I going to catch a lever on the side of it or something and rip off my mount, and you're done. You have to go hit the zero range again. Ours won't do that. And so that's the path that we've taken for so long. But there is still a lot of demand out there for a quick detach version. So it is something that we're going to be coming out with fairly soon.
Awesome.
I'm not saying it can't happen, but I would love to see video of someone throwing their gun in a bucket or somewhere and their levers coming off. Because
Right.
Well, usually,
I don't know, for some reason turrets I feel like stick out further than that. Like if you're going to be level with it. So I would like to see how is that possible?
I don't.
I'm saying it couldn't happen. Crazier things have happened. Don't get me wrong, but I hope when it does happen, somebody catches it on video and posts it and has the balls to post it on Facebook so I can see it.
Right. It seems to be the good thing about all three of us here is that we're all using different methods of mounts, right? I think, Nikki, you're using American Defense. Jennifer said you had a Night Force, and I have Warne. But like I said, I haven't tried any others. I just always.
I mean, and don't get me wrong. Before American Defense, I had Warne. I mean,
so
I've had several Warnes, but
I had a Warne before I got the Night Force.
There you go.
My question is typically when people say, "Oh, well, I want it in quick detach," I say, "Why do you want it in quick detach?" And the number one answer that anybody says is, "Oh, if my scope goes down, I can rip it off and I can use my backup iron sights."
I don't have backup iron sights.
Exactly.
So what? Yeah. So what is the real benefit to a quick detach? Well, yeah. Why do you want it? What's the benefit other than being able to take it off faster?
Okay, so I know the zero is not going to be perfect, but I have it zeroed on 2 guns. I can't afford 2 scopes. So if one rifle goes down, I would like to be able to move the scope from my rifle that went down to my backup rifle, understanding that the zero is not going to be perfect, but it'll be closer than not having a rifle to shoot. Because I can only buy 1 rifle. I have multiple rifles, but I only got 1 scope.
That's why you need their torque wrench in your bag, and then it wouldn't matter if it was quick detach. You could just torque it right there on the range.
True, and it doesn't. Quick detach is still.
I'm buying one of those.
If you have weak fingers, you're still not. I can't get that thing to detach. That is, hey Heath, can you do this for me? Sort of thing.
There's also tolerance differences in receivers. They do exist, so it's not going to be consistent from one receiver to the next. If you actually torque it on there, you're getting consistent torque across the board. So our mounts do exactly the same thing. We have lots of people that run them on multiple rifles. We take our mounts on and off our own. We take our own personal guns to shows. We've had a lot of times where we've traveled with our guns, taken the scopes off a dozen or more times, bashed them around, flown them on planes, throw it on a year later, and it's still zeroed. So it will return to zero. It's just not a toolless quick detach system. And that's what it comes down to is the guy who wants a quick detach, we want to be able to toollessly remove it from the gun in the heat of the moment and go to something else. Now, whether that's absolutely necessary is, up for argument, but, ours, they will absolutely return to zero in the same way any quick detach will.
And I'm not sitting here saying Warne doesn't make good stuff. I'm just saying you asked me why would I have detached. I'm not.
I sense it in your tone.
No, I'm really not. But you asked why would I have a detached? Well, that is why I have a detached. But it's same reason I walk up to a stage where you're only going to need 10 pistol shots, but I got 3 mags.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
Here you go. We're going to move on to discount corner here, kind of calm the mood since Nikki got all hot and over her detachment.
I am not hot.
All right.
I'm hungry. I'm not going to lie. I'm hungry. But
oh, God. She can't do the show when she's hungry.
All right. So we'll do some discount corner here. Jen, start us off if you have any, please.
Carbon Arms. You can get 10% off at Carbon Arms with TSM 10 on shotgun, caddies, chest rigs, all kinds of their things. The extension tubes for your shotgun. They have AR rails, so check them out. But they're by far the best shotgun caddies around, in my opinion, my humble opinion. And also they have the ratchet belts that I love, so check them out at carbonarms.us.
Oh, there you go. Nikki, you have any?
Oh, this is awkward. If you want to save 10% at American Defense Manufacturing, on
quick detach again.
This is weird.
No, it's all right.
Just use discount code 3gun10. It's the number 3, the word gun, and the number 10. Save 20% on TrueSpec. Hit me up on Facebook. That's a friend's code. 15. I think it's 15% at Criterion Barrels. That's another friend's code. Hit me up on Facebook. Me, Heath, or Team Clevenger. Love sharing codes with people. I'm trying to think. Red Hill Tactical. You can use discount code Clevenger and save 10%. on your Kydex holsters. What? Clevenger is in all caps. Again, I got my hype man back here. Y'all can't hear him, but he can hear me. So all caps with Clevenger at Red Hill Tactical. Babe, any more discount codes that I forgot while you're over there? And that's it. That's what I got.
That's what I got. I got a couple here. Shop.tacticalshit.com. TSM10 saves you 10% off anything on the website. What do we have? Dewey Rods. That's DeweyRods.com. TSM15 for anything on the website. 15% off. Taran Tactical Innovations. TaranTacticalInnovations.com. TSM10 saves you 10% off anything on their website, including gunsmithing work. We got Tactical. TSM10 for 10% off their website. And Rand CLP Mindset 16 saves you 15% off RandCLP.com. And Red Hill Tactical TSM 10 saves you 10% off of their website too. So flying through those. Is there any?
I got another one. Go to TSM and use Nikki TSM 10 to save 10% off.
I felt like Jen was forgetting something for some reason. I know she didn't.
I was like, as soon as you said your Red Hill one,
because we haven't
like,
done a show in forever, and I'm jet lagged.
Took a little
or
hiatus.
you can do Jen TSM 10 because it rhymes and it's one less letter. But just saying, because I'm cuter, you can use my discount code instead.
Oh, I was gonna bring something up, but I won't.
Yeah.
And because I knew that I was supposed to use a level on a scope.
There we go. Jeez.
Story. I also don't zero my rifles, so at least.
Yeah.
You don't
I'll
zero
be honest,
your
I'll tell you, I don't know. I don't zero my rifles now.
Heath does them for you?
Mm-hmm.
See, I feel like the zero is going to be slightly different based on how your cheat weld is.
Well, that's why for PRS, I would probably have to shoot my own, but for 3-Gun Nation and stuff, the size targets that you're going to see.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to matter.
Is it really? It doesn't throw it off.
I want to zero my own. Don't want anybody else doing it for me.
That's part of the parts manager portion of his job. Parts manager.
Right.
I did hit a bonus target at 400 yards. Thanks to my hype man back here reminding me about all these fantastic things. So thanks, babe.
Justin, anything from Warne? Maybe some Black Friday stuff coming up or anything that.
There, not that I know of. We don't really sell direct on our website, so I don't have an e-commerce way of actually selling to the public. We're all through dealers and distributors.
Right.
Bet they're going to be Friday deals, but through who? I don't know yet.
There you are. We got a couple more here coming up. Any upcoming events? I know there's SHOT Show kind of fast approaching here in a month or two. I know you guys kind of came from Blue Ridge PRS match. Is there any more up and coming events like that?
That was probably one of the last of the year that we're really going to do was the Blue Ridge PRS match. We're going to continue to support matches going forward, but SHOT Show will be at NRA. We'll be at least our local sportsman show, and all the dealer and distributor shows you can think of. We'll be at all of them.
Okay, at SHOT Show, do you have a booth number off the top of your head? I know it's kind of hard to remember, but
you know what? I should really know that, and I don't remember off the top of my head.
I think it was right in your email when we were emailing back and forth. Let me pull that up.
My email.
Oh, there it is. Yes, it's booth 16344. Says 16344.
Yep.
At SHOT Show. That's January 23rd to the 26th at Sand Expo Center in Vegas again. Stop by their booth. Also, if you guys are, I don't know too many people that go out there. I want to go to it because I just want to go to Germany, but you got the EWA Outdoor Classic 2018.
Yep.
Going to be in Hall 3, 620, whatever that comes out to be.
For our German listeners.
Yeah, for the German listeners or people who have the luxury to go out there. All right. I guess it's pretty cool. You've been out there, Justin. How's that show for you? I mean, versus SHOT Show. Is there
it's different, man. It's kind of weird. You see a lot of really cool stuff you don't see here, especially the hunting gear. It's a different world. And there's optics over there you can't get here domestically that you get to see. There's clothing, there's gear that you can get over there you can't get here domestically. It's kind of shocking to see it, but it's a cool show. It's interesting. It's tiring, but it's a really interesting.
I wonder, is it outside the SHOT Show life? Like, I know we had the Vegas Strip luxury there. How's that outside that show? Is it just as nice?
I would say it's nicer because I'm a little burnt on Vegas, just like everybody else in the shooting industry right now. No, it's in Nuremberg, so Nuremberg is beautiful, and especially if you're inside the wall, very historic. It's nice. It's a good departure.
Yeah, I'm almost wishing that they kind of take the show somewhere else other than Vegas because I'm so burnt out on that.
I think that's how everybody feels.
Yeah, like I know I believe it was in Orlando before Vegas. I'm kind of a little bit biased because that's a real short drive for me, but Orlando's a decent spot. I mean, the only problem about Orlando is that everything kind of closes really early. That's a problem.
I heard a really, really weird rumor that NRA might not be in Dallas. Anybody else hear this?
I didn't hear that.
Are we still planning Dallas in April, May?
I was planning Dallas, yeah.
I thought I heard they may move it because of some incidences that it may not be in Dallas. And I was like, why? Hurricane damage as to why it may not be in. My hype man back here filling me in.
That would make sense.
So I don't know.
If the venue was damaged severely or something, that would make sense. But
I wish it would. They said possibly coming back to Nashville or Atlanta. Tennessee or Georgia. So.
Good. Yeah. Hopefully it's not in Atlanta, man, because I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of
Atlanta wasn't even that far away for you, though.
It's not. Well, I guess it's drivable.
It's better than Dallas.
I just hear Atlanta kind of blows. I don't know. Sorry for Atlanta listeners. I'd rather it much be in Kentucky or something like that. Tennessee, Indiana, somewhere in there.
I just don't like Dallas fans, and I don't care who's listening. I don't like the Cowboys.
There you go. Well, there was speaking of SHOT Show, Travis Gibson got on I don't know if it was a Facebook Live or some social media platform and kind of debuted and talked about a bipod that was up and coming by Warne. And like most people who've seen that video, they were very intrigued and wanted one right away. So if you can talk about it, what's so unique about that mount, and when can we expect these to finally ship?
So I can limitedly talk about it. I can say we let the cat out of the bag a little bit too early last year. So that was a first-gen prototype. We're on the third-gen prototype of that bipod design, really trying to make it bulletproof and strengthen it prior to what it was. We've been using them on our PRS guns for several matches and really trying to wring them out. We've sent them to a couple of pro PRS shooters to put them through the paces also, and then we'll refine from there. And then still have to figure out how to mass produce it. So we're probably looking at, next year sometime it should be available, but it's got some really interesting features that few other bipods out there have. And it's going to be a good value for what you're going to get as well.
Will they swivel?
It'll cant and it will pan. It'll pan 20 degrees and cant 20 degrees.
Sweet.
Ooh. And
does it have spikes at the end?
It will have spiked feet, so it'll come with rubber feet, but it'll have spiked feet as an accessory.
Look, it's like Jen, he can't talk about it that much, but Jen is like, so can it do this? Can it do this?
No.
You can't talk about it much, Jen.
Sorry. I mean, I have a.
There was a lot of features in that video.
When I went
that video was kind of like a giveaway, right?
When I went to the gap grind and I'm like struggling to get my bipod to stay on this piece of uneven something, and the other people are going up there with their spikes and going chunk, and it's not moving, and I was like, I need that.
Yeah.
I want spikes.
Until you get on like a fiberglass culvert or something where the whole thing's sliding around on the tip of your spikes, then then you want your rubber feet back. But no, it's going to have a lot of really cool features. It's going to have some funky, cool adjustable legs, different leg positions. It's going to be quick detach, and it's going to be it's going to be at a good price point. So it's going to be also very rugged. We're going to make it stronger than probably any other bipod out there on the market. We've been doing pressure tests and braking tests.
Can we hint on an MSRP around?
Our target right now is going to be around $250 or so. That's preliminary.
Okay, there you go.
Not official. Don't quote me on it. But
there you go. We have a general.
That's what we're shooting for.
General idea there. All right. Anything else? I mean, any new products? I know we mentioned some possibly, some one-piece detached stuff coming out. Is there anything else you can hint at before shot here?
So I can hint that, again, we're pushing pretty hard into the precision rifle market. So that's really where a lot of our accessories are going to be geared toward. We have some products that are going to be launching at SHOT that I can't really talk about, but we're going to have a lot of new products. So if you get a chance to stop by the booth, take a look. We're going to be doing live stories on Instagram and everything else and really pushing it. But that's kind of where we've been headed. Our Mountain Tech line was a big launch for us last year. Breaking into that kind of market. But aside from that, the bipod is going to be a big one. The QDX scale is going to be a big one. And we have some other accessories, again, can't really talk about them because they're too new at the moment. So, but they will be launched at SHOT Show. So we're going to have a lot of really cool new products.
Hopefully, all signs are kind of looking good, but hopefully I can get out there and maybe we can do some videos with you or Lalani or somebody else at Warne who's there at the time. We can get some of these new products out there on video for the Shooter's Mindset kind of social media side of things.
Absolutely. Yep, stop by and we've got several people who can help you out.
There we go. Jen, you're planning on going, right? Nikki, you're planning on going too?
I'm there for a day and a half, but Heath will be there for the whole thing.
That kind of, yeah, because that's gonna fly by. But
yeah, I know.
Yeah, I hear you.
When people from other countries come in,
hey, are y'all gonna be at range day where we can play with maybe said bipod?
We are not going to be at range day. We were at range day last year, and
I was gonna be mad if I missed it.
We're not going to be this year. In fact, we had that bipod on our range guns last year, but yeah, probably not going to do that this year.
Good, I'm not missing anything.
Just come by the booth. We'll have them there.
Oh, I will. You're on my list already.
Good.
There it is.
I say if the SHOT Show app would work, you would be on my check off on the SHOT Show app, but they don't have it updated yet, which is really killing me because I'm ready to start checking off booths that I need to see in my 1 day and a half that I have.
I just make a handwritten list until we get closer to time.
So I just said I put it in the app, and then sure enough, when I get there, I end up writing it down because people will be like, "Where are you?" And I gotta look at where I'm headed because the app.
I guess the first time that I used it,
and you don't have any service.
Time I use the app, I always have it, but when I really was relying on it, it was either the Wi-Fi was, I don't know, it was kept crashing. I don't know what it was. So I really, it kind of turned me off ever since.
Yeah, that Wi-Fi never works in there. Right. So then you just wander around and get confused and scared and try to run back to your own booth and hide. That's what I do.
There he goes. Havoc Legion shooting team said he finally made it in. Havoc Legion checking in.
You late? You real late.
You late, really late. We're about to almost wrap this one up. Peeping that Buffalo Trace sticker. Support the wildlife right there. Yeah, I'm stickers everywhere at this point. I'm safe. What else we got? Anything new you ladies wanted to talk about as far as anything? Match? I know we're kind of in the off season, so I don't know if any dry fires, just kind of you guys just vacationing or dry fires picking up or what's going on next with you guys.
I am going to coach volleyball again this season. So I will shoot one more match in December and then I will take off until April again. So it'll just be Heath.
Coaching volleyball.
Coaching
what is it like? College level, high school level?
No, it's going to be high school club. So I have 16-year-olds.
Awesome. There you go. Jen, anything new on your side for the off season?
I'm still shooting. We have local USPSA matches every month, and I shoot those every month. And occasionally they'll have a 2-gun match, so I'll do those here locally. Not really traveling as much with 3-gun because I really am shifting over to PRS, and it's kind of the off season of PRS right now. So I'm like itching. I just did the gap grind. I really want to go shoot something else. So I'm going to look around and see if Phil has something going on at his place or maybe if there's something at Core. I'm trying to get I want to take a class also a PRS class. I mean, I've shot a little bit of it, but I want to take a class and be told the right way to do everything instead of just the get by way.
There you go. Any kind of back to shot real quick. Any events that you guys know of coming up? It's been kind of slow. I haven't heard
anything really. It was a little later getting our badges.
Yeah,
it felt like it was a lot later anyway.
That just kind of went through, I think, a few weeks ago, right? 2 weeks ago or something like that.
Yeah.
Media side was open.
Not even. I mean, I think it was like
press.
a week ago.
Yeah. So there it is.
That finally I got mine, because I got mine right before I left for China.
It came in like it was mailed in?
No.
I was gonna say, I just got the email saying that the badge would be mailed soon, but
yeah.
I don't think they come like December.
I finally got a hotel room, so at least I'm staying somewhere.
Where you at?
I think the Mirage.
Ooh.
At first it was like I had a plane ticket and I had a badge, but I had nowhere to sleep. So now I got somewhere to sleep. So.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Got that covered, but
all right. Well,
I got one day to meet as many people as possible.
Do we have any live or anything else you guys want to throw in here before we go? I think we hit majority of what I got.
Let me refresh, but I don't think we had anything else live.
Justin, anything else you want to throw in before we go? Maybe something we missed or you want to talk about?
No, I think that's about it.
Right on. All right, I think we can wrap this one up. We'll take it down to shout-outs here. Jen, what do you have?
Well, I will say one thing, just one more little bit is, like, to me, it's a big deal, the companies that actually support shooting sports. And I know when I started in 3-gun, the very first scope company I ever heard about was Warne. The very first scope mount I ever had was Warne. And really, honest to God, the only reason I changed from Warne was because Night Force sent me a one with the scope. So that's the only reason that I changed off of Warne. It wasn't like, oh, I don't like this. I still love my Warne scope, and I still have my Strike Eagle in it.
We should probably change that for you, but
I was gonna say, my first 2 scope mounts were Warne. First major prize I ever won had a Warne scope mount certificate in it. I've since won 2 Warne scope mount certificates off prize tables. So that is, I definitely go towards them when I see them. But
it's greatly appreciated.
Yes,
it's greatly appreciated whenever companies support the shooting sports, and I just want to
absolutely
put it out there that Warne is definitely one of the larger names out there that is supporting the shooting sports, and it's greatly appreciated. So just wanted to say that. But other shout outs, back to my usual, of course, Lanzang Tactical. That awesome 308 that I shot was Lanzang Tactical, and also shoot their LTE 42. So check them out. ZT Knives, Night Force Optics, still love that optic. Load Up Ammunition, Sharpshooters of Augusta and Shooters of Augusta, Grizzly Targets, Lucas Oil, Proper, Carbon Arms, and that's it, I think.
Nicely done. Nikki, what do you have?
I'm trying to unmute myself. First, I got to shout out my husband, because this dinner that he just brought me is on fire. It's so good. Thanks, baby. Good dinner. Shout out to you. Then I got to do Criterion Barrels, American Defense Manufacturing, Eagle Imports, Pure Gold Shotgun Chokes, True Spec, ZT Knives, The Outdoor Shop, Shop Local. My local gun shop is The Outdoor Shop. You can check them out if you don't have a local gun shop at theoutdoorshop.rocks. Red Hill Tactical, Stage Zero Shooting Supply. So if you want to pick up a sweet SPS Pantera from Eagle Imports, hit up Donnie Flo with Stage Zero Shooting Supply. He can get one of those in for you. I'm missing people. I know it. Babe, are you listening to me? Do you hear if I missed anybody? He's not listening. I think that's it. No, GPO USA, my awesome optics company. Duh. Check out their new binos. Their glass is super clear. Can't wait to get my hands on some of those. So GPO USA for some great glass for you.
There you go. Justin, you're up. Any shout outs on your end?
Yeah, shout out to my wife for getting the kids out of the house so it's nice and quiet for this. we look forward to a good year. So I appreciate you guys having us on, and it's been fun.
Yeah.
He froze.
This should do date or something like that. We've always been a supporter.
You froze, Anthony.
Did I freeze? Am I still frozen?
Just start over. Nope. You're good now.
No, you're back. Let's start over.
All right. Now I'm just going to cut Chase. There it is. You guys need to have one. Look at that.
I like the red. I have the red one.
I've had blue.
Although I'm getting a blue rifle.
I'd say I've had blue, and I've had like the tan, the desert tan color. I can't remember what it's called. I do have to say, out of everything black, when I first got into the 3-gun world, out of everything black, Warne scope mounts was like the first color where I was like, ooh, why is their rifle have that color on there? How do I get that? So first color ever, Warne scope mounts.
Ooh, is that a suppressor on there too?
In the black gun world.
All right. Shout out to my end real quick. What do we have? Subscribe to the channel. Right below the video, you see the subscribe button. If you're watching on the YouTube side of things, hit that button. Stay here. We're going to have a show. I know we took a little bit of a break here. Schedule some guests. We have, I think, one more lined up. I just need to get on the ball and schedule some more people. Tactical Shit for supporting us here for 2 years now. Folks over at Tactical Shit, very kind, very funny group of folks. They're over in St. Peters, Missouri. So if you happen to be in that state, you want to check out their retail shop, go over there and check it out. Discount code does work if you yell it at the cashier. So try that out.
I still want to go there just so I can yell it at the cashier.
They'll probably be like, what?
Again.
What? Definitely thanks to Justin for coming on, man, spending some time with us here to talk about Warne scope mounts. Appreciate that. And look forward to all the new stuff you guys have coming at SHOT. Gear Nation USA, I think we have a batch of new T-shirts, Everyday Gun Day T-shirts coming out that we're going to post on the website here. We've been out of stock for quite a bit, but we're going to put some new shirts and new designs that will be sold exclusively on the shootersmindset.com in our shop, okay? That'll probably Rise Armament for their fine triggers. Arms, always great stuff, always great shotgun caddies. Nate Square Tactical for a fine CCW holster. And that'll do it. We'll wrap it up here. Episode 199 of the Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We're out of here.